got to score more points at the end of the game than them.
Riley, that rally against Utah State last year, I'm sure you get asked about it a lot, but do you remember everything about that night, nothing about that night, and describe just recollections of coming back against those guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a distant memory right now. I'm sure I'll reminisce about it later on down the road, but right now, don't think about it too much. It was fun. I mean, everybody wants to play. I got an opportunity to play, and it was memorable. Anytime you score with 11 seconds left to win the game, it's a memorable game for you. So it was a fun night.
Did it change you as a player at all, or was that just an opportunity to show?
No, that was who I was, and I knew that going into that game. And if the opportunity would have come, 2 games earlier or 2 games later, that was me. And so I didn't surprise myself or anything like that. It was what I expected to do.
Do you feel pressure heading into the season personally?
No. I don't. I mean, there's an inward desire to perform, so that we can have a good season. I mean, but it's no more so than any other of the 105 guys on this team. Whatever their roles are, there's that pressure to come out every day and do your best, and that's the only. If there's any pressure, that's the only kind that there is.
Inside a week to go, Bronco still admits that there's some position battles out there. It just doesn't seem like a whole lot has changed with such a small window to the opener.
So much has changed as far as what?
It just doesn't seem like a whole lot's changed attitude-wise with you guys. You guys are just pacing along and staying cool. Do you not feel any more pressure? I mean, you're inside a week to go to the opener.
Yeah, no, we feel good. I mean, Coach Mendenhall is leading us in the right way, and we trust him. Those position battles those positions that need battles to handle. I mean, we've seen, as evidenced by last year, there's position battles going on. If you don't perform, you're out. Next guy's in, and if he performs, then he's in and you're out. So it's a very fluid thing throughout the season. Nothing's ever, all the depth charts are written in pencil and not in pen, and nothing's set in stone. So I expect that attitude to continue throughout all, 13 weeks of the season.
It sounds like that center position is still up for grabs right now, and how much input do you have on that, considering that's a pretty special relationship there between the quarterback and the center?
Yeah, the only thing I can offer is from my perspective, I don't know a lot about technique and things like that, but as far as working with guys in the huddle and demeanor, but I'm comfortable with, right now Houston and Blair are both rotating, and I'm comfortable with both of them, to be honest. And so the coaches have a tough decision to make, and that's why they pay them the big bucks. I'm glad I don't have to make it, because both those guys have had a real good camp, and to be honest with you, I'm comfortable with both of them. If they decide to rotate them during the game, it won't change our momentum or our ability to execute in the least.
Coach Weber said that was a possibility, so it sounds like that's been expressed to you too, that those 2 guys could rotate during the Washington State game.
Well, yeah, I asked about it a few days ago, and they threw that out there as a possibility. Yeah, they're like, no one's separating themselves right now. They're both playing very well, and it very well could be throughout the flow of the game. Who knows? We get hot and we stick with the lineup, or maybe a guard struggles, and we need to make changes. The offensive line is going to be fluid at least through the first part of the first game, or we could start off, get rolling, and it's the same 5 guys, and those guys keep playing. Really, you want to avoid being rigid as far as personnel decisions are concerned.
Is leading at this level any different than being a leader in high school?
Yeah, guys are more mature. Guys, there's more guys. You don't have high school's the same guys you've been with since you were 7 years old and played Pop Warner with, so you know everybody. Dudes, but you don't know them like that. Your relationship with them goes back maybe 2 or 3 years rather than 10 to 12. It's a little bit different with that, and then also you have, it's big business. It's 65,000 fans follow, and you're tied to a university that you represent, and all these things. In high school, it's on a much smaller scale, so it's a little bit different. But it doesn't change who you are inwardly. There may be some logistical or administrative aspects to leadership that you have to change or take into account. But as far as the game's the game, and in that aspect, it's the same.